Hey lore friends, I know what you're thinking. Cynprel, you just made a Fracture lore video. Yeah, I know. But then David Nottingham said this. I had to find these deep cuts, so I hopped into Fracture again and searched top to bottom. I found something noteworthy, and something many of us overlooked. I'm also going to go over the new emails and audio introduced in the PBE. Let's get into it. Speculation inbound. I'll begin by introducing all the solid findings first, and then I'll explain my theory as to how it all connects. The largest finding is here in the security terminal. These sequences of numbers on each display actually translate to secret messages if you assign them in their alphabetic numerical values. The main display translates to Mirrorverse. The first security camera monitor translates to Who is the Saboteur? The second monitor overlooking the terminal translates to Path to Omega Earth. And the final monitor, which overlooks the Omega Kingdom side of the Radion Collider, translates to Ruben Pontes works here. Altogether, we have Mirrorverse, Who is the Saboteur, Path to Omega Earth, and Ruben Pontes works here. This means someone suspects sabotage, and they may suspect Omega Kingdom physicist Ruben Pontes. What exactly was sabotaged? I don't think they're referring to Deadeye in the Collider. I believe the events we are unraveling occurred prior to the Collider's destruction. We also received confirmation that the facility and its operations were more recent, meaning that the VALORANT protocol agents previously working under Kingdom did not do work here. It was beyond their time with the corporation. Now recall that Ruben Pontes, Oren McKenniff, and Paul Delman are all scheduled to converge at the same place, the radar facility. Originally, I thought that the significance of this convergence was to be revealed by future updates to the emails, a feature David Nottingham announced shortly after the map launched. However, I believe I've pieced some of it together already. Remember, this is primarily speculation, but I have some evidence to back it up. With VALORANT lore, as important as it is to look forward, it is equally as important to look back. Take a look at these two images. The first image comes from the episode 2 illustration. For a long time, these two figures stumped us, but I personally believe these two individuals to be the Mirrorverse counterparts of Ruben and Oren, meaning Earth 1 Ruben and Earth 2 Oren. The second image is from the research room on the 100A Kingdom carrier ship on Icebox. We never had a solid idea as to who was making use of this room, but I now believe it to be our shadowy figures. We originally assumed this display to simply be fluff, something to take up space on the wall, but now it clearly represents the Radion Collider. This texture doesn't appear anywhere else, only in this room. I believe they were here to gather intel on the mysterious experiment XO11, Yoru's ancestors' Radionite artifact, and were planning their next hit. You can see on their strategy map that they marked the area of the US where Fracture is. So how do I tie this back to Fracture? With Paul Delman, the Kingdom Arctic Research Facility's Employee of the Month. It is no coincidence that we find his security clearance card abandoned in the sand near the area in which he was authorized to work. I theorize that the scheming Ruben and Oren used Paul, either as himself or posed as him, to gain access to the Everett Linda facility, and switch themselves out with their counterparts working there. Take a look at the base of the dish. While the facility has seen some wear and tear from being abandoned and fractured, these panels are properly sealed into place. But these bits here are peeled back with considerable force. I suspect that one of the scheming duo, posed as Paul, who strangely doesn't need to show his face to security, and sabotaged the dish, possibly causing it to fall on the other duo and promptly taking their counterparts' places within the facility. Also, recall this announcement made at the security booth.
Paul Delman, your shipment from S22 Icebox is ready for pickup. Paul Delman, your shipment from Icebox is ready for pickup.
Perhaps they are bringing something they need to Fracture, or maybe one of them is simply hitching a ride in Paul's belongings. When taking into consideration all the audio on the map forbidding any collaboration between individuals of the two Earths, we start to see a bit of potential foreshadowing for these events. So what are the scheming Oren and Ruben trying to accomplish? I have to imagine it involves the Collider, which, depending on the timeline after their antics, may be the reason Deadeye gets involved. There are some holes here though, primarily as to how this duo came to be, and what happened to Paul and the original duo. I suspect we will see this theory either fall or be reinforced by future narrative element updates to Fracture. Let's take a step back to the secret messages in the security booth. They imply that Omega Ruben Pontes is being suspected of being the saboteur, which means he, or someone he is associated with, is being watched closely by Kingdom. I would also like to break down the newest emails. This first one appears to be from Ruben's niece, Aurora, with the username Bitter Rose. Aurora acknowledges the strict security guidance in place and proceeds to update Ruben on her latest sports achievements. This sentence suggests that she lives near a body of water. I'm so excited to see them add another character to Fracture's narrative. I know many of you are quick to suggest that these individuals all have some sort of connection to a Valorant Protocol agent, or are possibly an upcoming agent, but I cannot stress how important these NPCs are in giving Valorant's world more depth. Let them be themselves until we can get more definitive evidence that connects them to our playable cast. The second email is from Ruben, in response to Orn's previous message. This email doubles down on that foreshadowing I mentioned earlier, with Ruben pointing out the segregation rules. Oh, and here's the new audio I mentioned.
Report any suspicious behavior to KSEC. Reporte cualquier comportamiento sospechoso a KSEC. This facility maintains a level 5 security clearance. Estas instalaciones exigen autorización de seguridad nivel 5. Reminder, all facility data is classified. Recuerde, toda la información en estas instalaciones es clasificada.
Lastly, I'd like to shout out a fellow lore enthusiast, Ellie6 Lindre. They found the namesakes of Everett Linde Research Lab, Hugh Everett and André Linde, two theoretical physicists with a multiverse relevant work. Go check out their page down below. And that's all. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. Comment Among Us down below if you made it this far, and like the video if you enjoyed it. Go check out my socials down in the description, and share this video with your friends. Until next time, take care, agents.